What is up, Jags fans? All right. There's a lot to get into. I know. Week 1, loss at the Texans. I'm glad you guys are here. I think I can convince you guys to be optimistic. All right. I seriously do. I've been thinking about this all weekend. I think I can. But before I do that, though, I got to plug the social media. Twitter, Jaguars_United. Instagram, Jaguars United _. And then I'm on Twitch, Jags_United. Okay, I think we're okay, and I know I'm about to get to the comments. This show is for the fans, by the fans. I'm gonna get into the comments, and I know it's crazy, but I think I've found a way to look at this optimistically, a glass half full, if you will. So just hang tight. Like I think we're fine. I do want to get to some of these comments though, here in the chat. The first one, Antonio Rivera. Let's go, Antonio. Charlie Boy says, wow. All I can say is wow. Brandon Latouche says, Jags United. I had the worst Monday ever. Oh, dude, Brandon, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope this week is better for you. Antonio Rivera says, first for once. Holy sheesh. I get it. Nick F says, yo. Brandon, the Jags are young. It will take some time. Antonio says we abandoned the run too early. I watched that. Gavin says I watched that game with my Lawrence jersey on and a bottle of liquor in my hand. Brandon Latouche says we called a timeout on our second play of the game. For Christ's sakes. Yeah, no, I know. Austin says we will get better each week. Young team with brand new system. Trevor Lawrence is the real deal, though. And by week 10, he will be spreading defenses. I'm excited to see us improve. Go Jags. Right. I like that. Austin can do my job. Beanie Baby says, just wanted to come in here and say, look, go Jags. Let's go get some crowd noise in the stadium and get the bank rocking. I am so pumped for this weekend. I will be at the game this weekend. If anyone is going to the game, message me on Twitter or on Instagram. I'm going to Intuition Brewery before the game. My little brother's band is actually playing at Intuition. So we're going to be at Intuition, me and some of the guys you've seen on the show before. And then we're going to go over to the game. So if you're in town, you're going to the game, you know where to find us. Hit me up. I'll get you a beer or two. Sav Jag says, are we that bad? Or are the Houston Texans that good? Okay, so Sav kind of leads me into like point A of why we shouldn't jump off the bridge. All right, this is point A. And I got points, guys. Come on. You know I'm rolling into this prepared. I didn't get to go to Houston. I would have gone to Houston. One of my good childhood buddies was getting married in Chicago. So I was in Chicago all weekend. I actually had a great time. I looked at the Twitter. I followed the Bold City Brigade on Twitter and watched them and their trip this weekend. And like it looked like a lot of fun, but like that game like had to kind of ruin the trip a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I went there. My Chicago trip was freaking sick. Like I'm telling you right now, it was sick. It was my first time in Chicago. It was amazing. I got to watch the Jags. We went to a bar where they put on the Jags game for us. It was awesome. Point 1A, why we shouldn't jump off of a bridge. Okay. The Texans were built to win week 1s, and the Jags were built to lose week 1s. Okay. Follow me here. The Jags have a first-year coach, a first-year quarterback, a very, very young team. Not the youngest anymore, but pretty young. We have the most cap room, $31 million. We have the most cap room of any team in the league. So that just naturally we're going to be deficient in some positions if we have the most cap room. All of those things make you a bad week 1 team. Like when you roll into week 1, it's always weird. I mean, obviously we've heard all week the Jags won week 1 last year and then lost the next 15. Week 1s are weird. That's a known thing. If you watch football for any amounts of time, week 1s are weird. They're almost anomalies from the rest of the season. If I could be frank with you guys. We were built to not be good week 1. The Texans, contrarily, were built to be good week 1. They have a highly regarded NFL experienced coach who was a coordinator promoted to coach. Lovie Smith calling the defense. They have a very veteran quarterback. They have running backs. I mean, how many running backs do they have that have been in the league for like over 5 years? You know, Ingram, Lindsey. I mean, they had 4. I mean, they had 4 guys. Burkhead. I mean, he didn't get much play, but like the team had a lot of veterans on it. They're built to win week 1. I have problems with what happened. I have problems with the secondary. I have problems with the coaching. I have problems with the offensive line and pass protection. I have problems with the play calling. I do. But you have to admit, like on the surface, like Houston's built to be a week 1 team, and Jaguars are built to be a week 10 team, as someone said. So that's my first point. And again, this whole show is going to be about like kind of talking myself off the ledge. And since I'm a Jags fan, I think by talking myself off the ledge, maybe someone else I could save your life. Gator Chomp says, I love that Tampa Bay Rays hat. That's right, baby. Dude, my Rays are going off right now. I got to check the score. You can tell me if you want in the chat. But, oh, yeah, my Rays are going off. Beanie Baby says, watching Monday Night Football, be back shortly. Yeah, I got you. I thought about putting up the game in the corner of the screen. But then, like, I started to realize, like, a lot of people go back and watch these videos. So, live show people. Shout out to you. If you're not watching live, it's because you're either watching Monday Night Football or you don't get the notifications. So hit that little bell, get the subscription, subscribe, all that, so you can be a part of the show. I like to read comments live as they come in. That way we can kind of do this together. Be fans together. Jacob says, I'm going to the game this weekend against Denver. Hopefully we win. All right, Jacob, let's go, bro. Hey, hit me up, bro. I'm gonna be at for those that are wondering exactly. I'm gonna be at Intuition around like 10:30. So Intuition's a bar right next to the stadium. I'm gonna be there, and there's gonna be some people there. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be kind of a party there. So that's where I'm doing my tailgating. Feel free to come and check it. I mean, it'll be a good time for sure. And win or lose, like we're gonna have a good time. Like that's what's great about being like Jags fans like us. We're used to losing, so we're gonna have a good time either way. Lonesome. I gotta turn my screen here. There we go. Lonesome, not I, says at least another Jacksonville football team won. Don't tell me. Oh, you're talking about the Saints, who in Jameis Winston's 5-touchdown game. Yes. There's some interesting college games this weekend too. Tugger Nut, what up, Tugger Nut? He says, what I want to know is what was with all the drops. It's like the receivers weren't prepared for how hard Trevor could throw it. Some were off the mark, but some were right where they should have been. Thank you. The point two for me. 2B. We'll use numbers and letters. Point 2B of why we shouldn't jump off of a bridge is the flow of the game was just incredibly advantageous for Houston. I'm talking like the penalties. I'm talking like the drops, like all the coin flips that happen in a football game that could go one way or another. Like they went Houston's way time and time again. Like people talk about the touches for James Robinson. Yeah, James Robinson like should have gotten more carries. 100%. I'm with you there. But like if you add in his touches like catching the ball and receiving him, he was almost at 10. There was a handful of plays that got called back because of holdings. So if those holdings didn't happen, he's up into the 15 range. I mean, we were behind the chains almost every drive. Almost every drive we had a penalty or something that was making us throw. Like I don't think Urban went into the game with the game plan of Trevor Lawrence throwing 51 times. I do not think that was his game plan. I think the flow of the game just dictated 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs. Like, yeah, you can run and pick up a handful. I mean, James Robinson was getting 5 yards a touch. That's great. But when it's 2nd and 25, 5 yards on 2nd down, like, really doesn't help you. And like that's the thing is like people look at the end stats and the end numbers and they don't really account for the game flow. And look, everyone that watches this channel, everyone that's watched any video I've ever done, I'm a coach. I stick up for coaches. Like I'm the last one that's going to get on Urban Meyer. And little side point, like I haven't seen the scores yet. I've watched a little bit of the first quarter. Vegas signed Gruden to a 10-year deal. What was Urban? 7 year? So Vegas still has more time with Gruden if he's bad than we do with Urban. Now, granted, we're both financially sunk in, but there's so much hate on social media toward Urban Meyer right now. It's like, dude, do you look at our past coaches that we've had for the past 10 years? Like Jack Del Rio is the last one that I've liked. Like seriously, like I like him as people, but not as coaches. Like. Can we just relax? It's week 1, game 1. Like, I know the things don't make sense, but, like, you got to give the guy some time. Anyways, flow of the game did not work out well. I think that's why you saw the emphasis on the pass. It wasn't because Urban wanted to throw it. I heard Tony Baselli say that there was a number of plays that Trevor Lawrence opted on the RPO to run the ball. So like, or to pass the ball, I'm sorry. So on those plays, if he would have chosen to run the ball, like there's 3 or 4 or 5 plays, and now the numbers aren't looking so like unbalanced. I think this is the real problem. This is the real, and this I'm some of the real problem. In the first half, our offense could not move the ball because of penalties and drops. Also in the first half, our defense could not stop Houston. So those two things mixed together made it seem like we got our butts beat, and we did. But those aren't things that I think you're going to see all season. I'm hoping the defense gets better with some experience. I'm hoping we get more pressure on the quarterback. But I don't expect us to have 10 penalties every game. So 80-something yards. I mean, yeah. If those 2 readings alone should maybe keep you from jumping off of the bridge. But I'm almost there with you. Antonio Rivera, and if I missed your comment, just retype it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up, but I ran. I got a problem. Antonio Rivera says Griffin is looking as bad as he was in the preseason. Still concerning. Gator Chomp says, your thoughts on this defense? At times they look confused in the secondary and missed assignments. Yeah, so defensively, we got some problems, bro. And like, I wanted to believe in this secondary, but I think our root problem in the secondary is these 2 things. And I think you guys would agree with me here. Like, I'm not saying anything that anyone hasn't already said or known, but one, Tyson Campbell is not ready. He's not ready. Like, he's just, it is what it is. He's super athletic. He's just not ready. I mean, he's getting just like burnt by some guys. And 2, Shaq Griffin was just massively overrated. Look, I hope things change. And look, I'm not grading Campbell and Griffin off of just week 1. I'm not going to get wrapped up in week 1. In the preseason, they showed us those things. That's my only issue. That's my only problem. We may have some issues. I don't expect this team to be very good. I mean, I think some people had 8, 9 wins in their head, and then now what are you? You're down to like 2, 3 wins, 4 wins, 5, 6. I don't know. I don't know where you're at now. I mean, that was a pretty bad game, but yeah. I mean, I'm hoping, bro. I'm hoping for sure. Cameron Boisvert says all those penalties made me want to kick a small child. Yeah, no. There was just so much excitement for this game. It was like a roller coaster. Like, we were at the top, and then like people were pumped. We haven't had this opportunity to be this excited since 2017, and that happens. We're fine. We're fine. Do not jump off the bridge. I might go back and rename this episode "Do Not Jump Off the Bridge." Nicole Trent with the $1.99 donation. Come on, look. This. I thought about showing the game. Some film cut-ups, because I usually like to do film breakdowns, but there's no point. Like, I'm a film guy, but like when I went back and rewatched the game, I found myself in the 4th quarter, and I cause when I'm watching the game, I'm like I'll see a play, I'm like, oh, that's a good play, I'll clip that play, and just to talk about it. I'm in the 4th quarter and I haven't found a play to clip. Like, not great. Your boy Taven Bryan, look. For all the crap we talked, I'm not going to talk about Taven Bryan because people are going to turn off the channel, turn off the video. But he was the first one to recognize the screen on Emerson. For someone who has no football IQ, Taven Bryan is the first one to recognize screens. Write that down. Thank you for the $2. Thank you. Jags Fan Cave says, sorry I'm late, but Duval, when is it ever okay to have 1,000-yard rusher and Robinson take 5 carries? That's people's biggest issue. Is James Robinson. I get it. And people are like, oh, why is Trevor throwing so much and not running? But these are the same people in the preseason that were like, oh, Trevor needs to take all the week 1 reps. It's like people are just looking for issues with the team. And I get it. We've been so bad for so long. But like, we were just begging for Trevor Lawrence to get every single rep. And now he's literally getting every single rep. And people are like, no, let's not give him every rep. I get it. Like, you have to balance the run and the pass to be successful in the NFL. But do you? Like, do you? Because I'm looking at some of these good teams, and they're not doing very much running. Look, I mean, Shenault had like 10 catches for like 50 yards. Like, they use Shenault as a running back. Like, do people not realize, like, on the quick screens and the quick hitters and the flares out of the backfield, that's basically the running game in this offense. So, like, we use Shenault a lot. Like, he was our main running back. And so if you want to come and say like Shenault needs more reps as a traditional wide receiver, that I would listen to. And that I might lose. I like Chark and I like Marvin Jones. I mean, I don't know how much space there is on the field. If you, I mean, I'm a fan of multiple tight end sets. You can't have multiple tight ends and 3 wide receivers. And I know their tight ends suck, so why would we want to run multiple tight end sets? It's because that gives you max protection, that gives you time in the pocket, and that allows Trevor to throw the ball deep. It's just hard. It's hard to give carries everywhere. And when you stack on top of that, the fact that we were behind the chains constantly because of penalties and drops, it makes sense that Robinson was the odd man out. Because if I asked you right now, be completely honest. If I asked you, who would you want to have more carries, Laviska Shenault or James Robinson? I think almost everyone here would say Laviska Shenault. They would, because I think we know what James Robinson is. Maybe now, after week 1, maybe it is better to line up James Robinson and just run. But I don't think you could blame the coaches for having that coaching strategy going into the first game. Like, I just really don't. Because if you look at the yards per, like, look at where Laviska caught all his passes. They're in the backfield. They're at the line of scrimmage. That's the run game. Like, I know it's a quick hitter. You want to call it a quick hitter. That's fine, but that's basically the substitute for the run game. Like, give them a chance to work it out. This team's not built for week 1. Let me get to some of these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I am ranting a lot. If this is your first video watching, I do not usually rant this much. Usually I go to the comments. I apologize. I'm back. I'm back to form. Jags history. Do you think they'll do better in week 2? They have to. If they did worse, I'm shutting the channel down. DJ M says, I'm late. Sorry, Jason Son. Dude, DJ, it's all good, bro. You know, do you, bro. I'm just glad you're here. Antonio Rivera, Taven can always see the screen, can't ever stop it. Okay. DJ M, why are so many passes dropped? Maybe because Chark didn't play a single snap in the preseason? Maybe. I don't know. Nick F, man, starting Dewey, let alone keeping him over someone like Wilson, is just another question mark I have when it comes to this new regime's talent evaluation. It feels like Balky has a long bad history. Now, I would have defended Dewey Wingard before the game. I would have. And look, I'm honest with you guys. Dude, I'm not trying to act like I know everything all the time and I'm always right. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not. But I would have defended Dewey. I would have pointed to teams that have had safeties that, you know, weren't that influential. I mean, there's I had a long list of safeties that, you know, were middle of the pack in the NFL, and they were on great teams. A strong safety is not going to make or break you. If you have a good one, then yes, they can really help you. But you can get by with a average strong safety. So I would have argued that maybe Dewey would have done enough to be average, but after week 1, no, he's not. And the coaches recognized that they took him out at halftime. I mean, they thought that he could. He shows flashes at times. I have a play that I cut on Twitter of him last season, of him making actually a remarkable play from the free safety position. He comes from the middle of the field, reads the quarterback's eyes, gets to the boundary, makes a great play on the sidelines. He shows flashes, but he was horrendous in the box. And when you're a strong safety, like, that's more important to me than how you cover. I mean, he was whiffing on guys in the hole. I mean, he will not start another game unless there's an injury. But look, that's what week 1s are for. It's what week 1s are for. Nick F. Also, I want Visca's average depth of target to be more than 4. They're very good. That's what I was saying, Nick F. I believe Chris Manhertz was the bright side of the offense. Honestly, I didn't really watch Chris Manhertz blocking. I don't necessarily think his catch and run after the catch was spectacular. It was great. He did his job. It wasn't spectacular, but I'm with you. I'm not talking crap. I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you. Alexander Ellis, Andrew Wingard, major problem. Now we know. I know you guys are sitting there like, dude, I told you that weeks ago. Like, I know that you're out there. I know, but I could see the justification. The guy was a willing tackler. I'm always a fan of willing tacklers. The dude's not afraid to get hurt. He doesn't make business decisions. He'll stick his nose in there. He just might miss the tackle. But I am with you guys on Andrew Wingard. I am. Jags Fan Cave, I would honestly say give J-Rob's average of 15 touches a game at a base level scheme. Visca can get lots of those quick passes as well. They can coexist in this offense. That's fair. I think they can coexist, and that might be a good point. But here's the only thing I would say about that. I would say they could coexist under normal circumstances. Normal down and distance. normal game flow. We were not only behind the chains every drive, but we were also getting blown out. Like we had to score quickly, especially in the second half. So I think if you just look at the total numbers at the end and you're like, oh, our game needs to have this, like you're not taking into account the fact that we were behind the chains every drive and getting blown out. I mean, call it garbage time if you want. If you're down 3 touchdowns, you have to throw every play. It is garbage time. It's not Trevor's fault. It's not Urban Meyer. It's not the offensive coordinator's fault. It's not. Maybe it is. Junior Jags press Broncos is going to be a tough game. I overlooked them. I'm just glad I get to go, dude. Honestly, I don't care if we win or lose. We're going to have a great time. I'm going to be yelling Duval the same amount of times. It doesn't matter if we're 1-0 or 0-1, bro. I'm going to have a great time there. Do I want the team to be better? I do. Do I trust Urban that he's going to turn it around? I also do. I'm fine. Nick F. Wingard is good on special teams, just not in coverage, which matters so much more. Raise, let's go. Raise up. Says, I wish Trevor would hit his check down to his running backs when he couldn't find his first couple options. I felt he didn't glance at them. I did see some people breaking down his film, talking about him kind of reading his receivers, not looking off receivers, really projecting where he's going to go. A lot of those interceptions were just safeties and corners were reading his eyes, and that's fair. But he's a rookie. I mean, he's going to make those mistakes. Like, I think overall he had a good game. I mean, the drops, I maybe forgive Chark maybe for one of those drops. That was a little high. But if DJ Chark was sitting here right next to me, he would probably take accountability on every single one of those passes where it's like if his hands were on it, he should have caught it. Like, this isn't me being like a cynical NFL fan. Like, oh, you're a professional. Any NFL player has such a high expectations for themselves that if they can get a single finger on it, they expect themselves to catch it. So that's why I'm being tough on them. Not because like I'm tough on them, but tough because I think they would be that tough on them as well. So look, I think the receivers are okay, bro. I think Marvin Jones and Shenault are actually like very good receivers. And Chark has a very high ceiling. I'm honestly not as worried about the receivers as I was in the preseason. I'm worried about the offensive line, and I'm worried about the defensive secondary. Steve Boston with the $5. Steve, thank you, brother. He says, face it. In the beginning, he pulled a Jay Gruden and got away from the run early, plain and simple. Look, I don't think you're wrong. Like, he could have ran the ball more. That being said, I get what he was doing. He used Laviska in the short yardage situations. He used Laviskas on the quick screens, the quick flares, the quick outs to give him the ball in space. A lot of times on the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. That's essentially compensating for running game. I think he tried to do that. Viska did a great job. Just the penalties, man. The penalties were killing us, and the drops, like those mess with you. And you look at Urban's press conference, and basically he was just like, "You have bad games." Basically, what he said. He's like, "You have bad games," and I think that's what he was referring to. This offense isn't built to play from behind. This offense isn't built to play when they're behind the chains. Not because they're like horrible. They're just young. They're just young guys that have no chemistry together. Chark and Lawrence have played 0 snaps together before this game. James Robinson didn't play a lot in the preseason. Like, look at who played a lot. Laviska, Marvin Jones, Carlos Hyde, Chris Manhertz. Those guys played a lot in the preseason, and look who got all the touches. There's something to be said for chemistry. There really is. Steve, thank you for the $5. And I think you're right. And I would have ran the ball too, but you got Trevor, bro. Trevor didn't run the ball. He had one rushing yard, one rush for -3. Did that even count? Like, I fully expected Trevor to come in and really have 20 to 50 yards rushing per game. I mean, he's that athletic. So hopefully they incorporate that a little bit more. YWF Game Clip says, we wasted a second on Campbell. Should they cut him? No, they're not going to cut him, bro. He's young, man. He's young. Campbell's fine, bro. I like Campbell. I honestly, like, it would not surprise me if Campbell kind of, at some point in his career, switched over to a free safety. That's all I'm going to say. Greg Van Gasbeek says college offense play calling. Okay. That's fair. I think that's fair. I do give Bevel a little more credit than that. Like I think Bevel is calling the plays. So yeah, Bevel is the guy that threw the slant on the goal line for Seattle. So there's that. But at the same time, like, I don't know, man. I just think that the flow of the game just got away from us. Just a couple of unlucky things. The NFL happens like that. Good teams can overcome it and come back. Like I know, but we're not a good team. I'm hoping we're an average team. Lonesome Not I says Trevor played meh. Hopefully he gets in a rhythm Sunday. Yeah, you're right. I mean, his throws were off. For Trevor's standards, he would have liked to hit all those guys in the hands, and he didn't. First game though. First game live bullets. I'm willing to be patient. Nick F says we just need to temper our expectations. Hope ETN comes back with the same speed he had in college, along with our young talent making strides, and that we put things together late in the year. I think that's all you can hope for. And when you have a team like this, look, I think the fact that the Jaguars are $31 million under the cap, like, kind of speaks a lot to where this front office thinks they're at. You don't reserve that type of cap room for the next year's free agency unless you kind of know that your window isn't open yet. And for a coach to think that in the NFL takes a lot. Every coach thinks they can win. They're very prideful. They think they can turn anyone. Look at freaking John Gruden has used Derek Carr for the last 3 years. Like, coaches are prideful. I'm okay. I'm okay with this. Just for now. Look, I will be in this. I will be on the edge of the cliff, the edge of the bridge with you guys. Week 8, if we're 0-8, if we're 1-7, even, I'd be pretty pissed. But I mean. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we do need to temper our expectations just a tad, just a little bit. Steve Boston says, you and I both know you need a steady run game to open up the pass. You do. I do. I'm with Steve. I'm with you. But when it's 2nd and 25, getting 6 yards on a run doesn't help you. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we were behind the chains so bad that, like, we were unable to run the ball. And in the times that we did run the ball and we picked up the first down, they would call a penalty and it would come back. Like, how many first downs did James Robinson had at least 2 or 3 runs that got called back that were first downs? Like, this guy, they just could not get out of their own way. They beat themselves. Rule number 1, you cannot beat yourself. And they did. That's what they did. But Steve, you're right. I just, the problem I'm having with it, and I guess this is what really, like, irks me, is like, I don't think if you or me were in that position that we would have done anything different. Like, it's 2nd and 25. You're not going to run the ball with James Robinson. If he gets you 10 yards, it's 3rd and 15. Like, I know not every situation was that, but there were a lot that were close to that. And it just seemed like the cards were stacked against them from the beginning. It was obviously a veteran coaching staff for the Texans that were just much more prepared. But I don't really blame Urban for that. It is his first game. I get it, though. Jack's Fan Cave says, a lot of talk of Trevor being told not to scramble. He looked like he wanted to take off a couple times, but then pulled back at the last second. Yeah, he did look like that. And honestly, I don't know if that was because he was I don't want to say, I don't know if he was afraid to get hurt or if he was told not to scramble. I mean, I don't know. But yes, you're right. Like I said, I've been harping on Trevor's athletic ability and his ability to run all offseason. I mean, that's one of the. Watch this Clemson tape from last year when all his receivers were hurt and it was just him and ETN versus the world. I mean, Lawrence was running the ball a lot. Very durable quarterback. I know the NFL is a different game, but you got to create some yards from the quarterback position nowadays. Look what Kyler Murray did. UCF Jaguar in the chat. What up, UCF? Hope you had a good time in Houston. Man, I wish I could have been there with you, man, to be honest. He says, we're going to lock down Kyler in 2 weeks, no doubt. I don't think you really believe that, UCF Jaguar. I really don't think that you believe that at the bottom of your heart. But I'm just guessing. Timmy Devil 99999 says, have to question Urban's talent evaluation. Hyde, Austin, Cooper, Treadwell, Wingard, keeping the O-line together, keep cutting Schobert, Damian Wilson is not it. Now that's a lot of valid points there, Timmy. That's a lot of players that are not good. I guess I'm thinking big picture here. I'm thinking long term. We're Jags fans that have been losing, and we need wins. We haven't lost a game. We haven't won a game in 16 regular season games. I get it. I'm frustrated with losing too. But this is a new regime. This is a new coaching staff. They don't have the history of losses that we have. So we're coming at them as like a scored fan base. And they're coaches that have coached one game. Like, I don't want to run these guys out of town. Like, I really don't. It's week 1, season 1. Like, some of these fans are straight brutal in their analysis of the coaching staff. It's their first game too. I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too soft. Maybe. Nick F says Campbell could be elite. He has all the athleticism, just needs to develop ball skills. A Campbell with ball skills plus Henderson duo outside could be great. You're right. Just Shaq Griffin has just been so bad. And I'm the last one to criticize defensive backs. I swear. He's been bad. Sav Jag says Josh Allen and Chazon were not impressive. Josh Allen had the early sack. But you're right. Not impressive. YWF Game Clips says we need to invest heavily in the offensive line next year. I think they will. I mean, they have $31 million. That cap room will probably go up next year when they release some of that dead money. I mean, I know Marvin Jones, if he's not on the team next year, it's another $5 million. Like, there's a lot of players like that they could just go out and get some beasts. I think your first pick in the draft next year has to be an offensive lineman, does it not? I mean, I was just watching the Monday Night Football game and watching all the offensive linemen that were on the field. All these guys that were drafted in the last like 2 or 3 years, they were all starting. You know, Alex Leatherwood out there, Colton Miller. I mean, you had all types of players that the Jags fans have been talking about getting in late round picks that were available. Colton Miller, Alex Leatherwood, all guys that like Jags could have drafted. Not to toot my own horn, guys that I thought the Jags should have drafted, are starters and are playing well for Vegas. And it's just, I mean, they're out there. They're out there. DJM says, James and ETN, he says, I can only imagine next season, Trevor Lawrence, Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson, Marvin Jones, Laviska, James Robinson, and ETN. I'm cool with that whole list. I don't think Marvin Jones will be here. If Michael Thomas and Allen Robinson are here, Marvin Jones is not. He's not here. He's not. Yeah, I don't think so. But hey, I like it. Antonio Rivera says, only thing I didn't like was the play actions in the second half of the game. Everyone knew we weren't running. Just spread it out at that point. You know, that's kind of, I'm with you there. When your quarterback throws all those interceptions, though, maybe you're trying to help him out. I don't know. But I'm with you. I'm with you. Jeremy Price says, yo, Jags United. What up, Jags? Jeremy. He says, are you going to the Jags Atlanta game by any chance, please? I'm not planning on it yet. Let me look up the date of that. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. Is it in Jacksonville or is it in Atlanta? Let's see here. According to Google, Sunday, November 28th. Oh, it's at home? Yeah, I'll be there. Oh, yeah, I go to all the home games for sure. Yeah, if you're coming down, let's go. Yeah, we'll meet up for somewhere for a beer. Cam Boisvert, if we don't go O-line or wide receiver in the next first round next year, I don't know what to think. I really want to trust the process. I do too, Cameron. I do too. I think that's where we go. Although there's no telling. They took a running back in a corner with their second and third pick. Tugger Nut, as long as we aren't the first team to go 0-17, I am happy. LOL. This season was always going to be a struggle, so as long as we improve each week, that's all we need to do. You can work for Gus Bradley with that improve each day mentality. I like it. Gus Bradley's son, Carter Bradley, actually had a great game for Toledo against Michigan. They almost pulled it out. It's good to see. Good. I know Gus was there. He's a very involved parent for sure. 904 Duval says, you believe Urban is already on his way out. I do not, 904. No, I don't. It's been one game. Dude's on a 7-year contract. He can't be. He literally can't be. Timmy Devil, glad we did not pay Shaq Griffin top cornerback money. At best, he received 2-tier money. You know who looked really good at corner? Freaking Jalen Ramsey. There was a stretch. There was a possession that the Rams were on defense that literally Jalen Ramsey like disrupted all 3 plays and forced a punt. Like single-handedly blew up a screen, tackled the running back in the backfield, and like had a pass breakup. I just was like, yikes. And I saw it on Twitter. But, I mean, we got Clavon Chazon and Travis Etienne for probably the best corner in the league. Very sad. I loved Jalen. It's very sad. It's like I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's very sad. Tony P, just trade our assets for old veterans at the O-line. Trevor deserves that at least. Maybe keep Linder. I don't know. I mean, Linder's been good I saw the PFF pass blocking grades for the offensive lineman was probably the 5 lowest grades I've ever seen in my entire life. I think AJ Cann was in single digits. Horrible. And someone mentioned it. Like Texans knew we were passing, so they could really pin their ears down and they could really put their hand in the dirt and they could really try to get to the edge, knowing that Trevor was going to take a 3 to 5 step drop, and that helps the D end when you know that. But at the same time, you got to do something. Like, it's not like they were like insanely blitzing us. They're playing pretty conservative defense coverage. Yeah, I don't know. It's just sad. YWF Game Clips says the crying emoji. Yeah, me too. Bambo Saul says, do we not go secondary? The defense was so bad. We were bad at a lot of places. You got to think they're going to improve in free agency. So, you know, you got to think the safety position, the defensive line position, the offensive line position, the receiver position. Out of those 4, you're going to address at least 2 on the free agency and hopefully 2 in the draft. And then hopefully next year, because I think we're solid. I mean, Roy Robertson Harris played a pretty good game. Trevor Lawrence, I thought, played a pretty good game. Marvin Jones played a pretty good game. Yeah, besides that, I don't know. But week one. We're not jumping yet. Nick F says, man, I love Chazon's promise, and I hope for Etienne to be great. But that for the best corner and arguably a top 10 player in the league hurts, man. Chazon just doesn't look like Brian Burns or Joe Tyrant. Yeah, I mean, Chazon, I don't know. I mean, he's got a lot to show me this year. I like Chazon. I loved his film coming out of college. But he's just looking like one of those like super athletic guys in college that got away with his athleticism and not technique, and now it's coming back to bite him in the NFL. I hope not. I hope not. 904 Duval says that report that came out yesterday looks like coaches and players are already turning on Urban. No, that's clickbait. They're not turning on Urban. They're not. Urban has a lot of respect. Lot of respect in this league for sure. DJM says typical Jags to give Trevor his first ever regular season game loss. I did see that every rookie quarterback lost this week. And I also did see the last rookie quarterback to get a win on his like opening day start was like David Carr from the Texans, who ended up being horrible. So I mean, I don't know. Timmy Devil says start the rookie 4th round pick Smith and make him split with Chazon. Oh, Jordan Smith, a little Jordan Smith love. All right, Timmy, your comments have been pretty on tonight. I'm not gonna lie, you've been bringing it tonight. I like Jordan Smith. I guess the coaches don't think he's ready. We should have went after Chandler Jones. Well, yeah. After last week, I think Chandler Jones is probably a top tier D end. But look, the whole point of this show is just to like kind of, talk you guys off the ledge. Like, I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world. I think what hurts, and I said this already, was the roller coaster we went on from such high expectations and excitement to shitting the bed against the Texans. That with the Texans projected to be bad. I think that kind of killed us. And I know this is a minor factor, but I honestly do believe this. Like, a lot of people went to this game. I know the Bold City Brigade did their trip there. It was a divisional rival. So spending like your hard-earned money to go see that product makes people upset. And I'm just as upset as you are because I've spent my money on this product for my whole life since the Jags have been a team in 95. But Urban hasn't been there this long. Like, he's working out what he's working out. Like, he's in his mind, he's still doing an open tryout between Andrew Wingard and Andre Cisco. In his mind, he's still doing an open tryout between James Robinson and Carlos Hyde. Week 1 to us is huge, but I don't necessarily think Urban's looking at it the same way that we are. And I don't think that makes him a bad coach. And I think there's things that he should have done better. He could have prepared his team better. But people blaming football players for lining up in illegal formation, yeah, in college that's on the coaches. But in the NFL, you're a professional. You're either on the line of scrimmage or you're off the line of scrimmage. You're even supposed to look at the referee that's standing on the line of scrimmage and confirm that you are, in fact, on the right spot. How are we going to blame Urban for that? Didn't have his team ready? Excuse me, this is a professional football player. He shouldn't have to teach his tight end or his tackle where the line of scrimmage. I coach middle schoolers who know where the line of scrimmage is and that know where to line up. We can't blame the coaches for that. We're going to blame the coaches for a false start. We're going to blame the coaches for an illegal hands to the face. We're going to blame the coaches for a holding. I know we want to blame somebody. And Urban's an easy target. But I found myself getting kind of upset with how fans were acting on Twitter, and I know the fans are fans, toward Urban. The dude, it's his first game. It's his first game. There's a lot that we could maybe retrospectively go back and nitpick him for. But like I said at the beginning of the show, look at who our last coaches have been. Doug Marrone, Gus Bradley. Are you kidding me? Mike Mularkey. We've had some bums around here. Great guys. Bums as coaches. And now we have Urban Meyer, and the dude loses one game because the rookie that he put in, that he drafted first overall, the rookie he came here for, you think he came to Jacksonville for Jacksonville Beach? He came to Jacksonville because of Trevor Lawrence. And people are surprised that he threw the ball 51 times with him. He's a generational quarterback. And people are surprised he threw the ball 51 times. We were behind the chains. The down and distance was never in our favor. We were getting blown out the entire game, and people are blaming him for throwing the ball 51 times. I know people are going to turn it off here, but let's just take a deep breath and relax. Let's just relax. That's all I'm saying. Don't jump off the bridge. Not yet, anyways. Not yet. Timmy Devil says, and his comments have been on tonight, so I'll read this one. He says, I'm not calling for Urban or anyone's heads. I'm just suggesting some changes in position. Okay. That's fair. I would just counterpoint that I think they're still doing an open tryout, and I just think they are. Jags to Riches, I like that name, says, please keep in mind it's week 1. Oh, thank you. He says, remember what happened last year week 1? The Jags won, then proceeded to lose every game afterwards. Point is, place less stock in week 1. I like that. Bradley Rorick, after the week 1 performance, would you make any defensive changes? Cisco, yes. Cisco over Wingard. I'm going to get it. Wingard was horrible. And look, I'll admit, I didn't do a show last week. I was busy at work. I was getting ready to go out of town. I had a show lined up with a series of points to defend this starting of Andrew Wingard. I'm glad I did not put that video out. I'll admit it. I was wrong about that. And you guys didn't even know. I'm self-admitting I was wrong there. I thought Wingard could have been okay. I really did. But he was horrible. But yeah, him, I don't know, man. You can't bench Shaq Griffin, but he's bad. Does Herndon deserve snaps over Campbell? Maybe. The linebacker position, I guess, was okay. The D-line position was fine. They were all bad equally. I don't think they were good. I just don't think there's any changes you can make to get anything better than what you had, I guess, would be my point. Tuggernut says, you learn more from a loss than a win. Oh, Tuggernut, that's deep. Says, Trevor and Urban have never lost like that. Could be a loss they needed to get better. Dude, Tuggernut, I like the way you think. Brandon Latouche says, preach, United. Preach, say it louder for the people. I'm just glad there's some people here that agree with me. Usually it's the opposite. It's the people that dissent, the dissenting opinions are usually the loudest. So I appreciate there's at least one person that agrees. Nick F says, I wouldn't be mad if Trevor puts up numbers and the O-line looks good, but in general, we are a bottom 3 team. We'd be able to trade out for multiple ones or take an elite talent at O-tackle, D-line, or wide receiver. I think that's what they end up doing. I think you're projecting their future. I really do, Nick. Antonio Rivera says, I have us going 7 or 8 wins, expecting close games and ugly games. I sure hope so. Alexander Ellis says, plus the Colts and the Titans looked bad. That's true. That's true. Okay, think about this. For all of you guys that are getting all wrapped up in week 1, Houston looked like the best team in the division. The Titans and the Colts looked horrible. So week 1s are weird. I'm just going to say it. Alexander Ellis, in fact, the Texans lead the divisions. Yeah, I know. No, I know, for sure. Look, I mean, there's a lot to jump into here. And, like, I don't necessarily, like I said, I had no interest in breaking down the film of this game because it was just trash all the way around. The players were horrible. The players did nothing to help Trevor. The O-line did nothing to help Trevor. The receivers did nothing to help Trevor. The play callers did nothing to help Trevor. But I'm still fine with it. Like, I really am. Like, I think we're going to be okay. Like, is anyone expecting to make the playoffs this year anyways? So, like, what does it matter? Like, you want the team to look good. I'm with you there. But let's just be patient. Let's just be patient. That's all I'm asking. Like, it's like fire and brimstone on Twitter and on local radio. These guys are, like, demanding Urban make changes. Relax, bro. You're a journalist. You're a guy on the radio that used to write articles that no one reads anymore. Like, relax. Timmy Devil says we should have cut Herndon and kept Sidney Jones. Campbell will hurt us this season. Don't know if he can develop ball skills this year. Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, the Sidney Jones thing is looking like it hurts a little bit. DJM, are we the worst team in our division? Based off of what I've seen, yes. I do not think Tyrod Taylor maintains that level of play, but yeah, we look like the worst team. That's fine. Rome was not built in a day. People are going to be sick of that saying by the end of this year. I think we're okay. Harry Drury says, think about it. Who are we going to beat? If we can't beat the worst team in the NFL, ? The NFL is weird, bro. Like these people are on like better equal playing fields than like a college game. So a couple things go our way. I can see us beating a bunch of teams on our schedule. Like people are like hyping Denver up, hyping Arizona up. I know Kyler Murray looks really good, but look, the NFL is like weird. There's a reason why teams don't go undefeated, and there's a reason why teams don't go winless. The NFL is weird, and the talent is a lot more closer than people think. And the coaching has a lot less to do with it than people think. Now, the GM, they're important, but the coaching, the play calling, a lot less than people think, for sure, in the NFL. Oatmac says, I think it's very easy to freak out when everyone else is freaking out outside of the fan base. It looks a lot worse from the outside in, and we know what we're dealing with more than others. Keep calm, LOL. Yeah, that's it. Harry Drury says, I think we'll be competing for the number 1 pick. What's his name? Thibodeau from the Ducks, the D end. Now our if we get the number 1 overall pick and we take a D end, now we're talking. Now that defense is absolutely disgusting. I'm not talking number 1 pick. I'm not doing it. DJM, I'm sorry, but I'm on team tank. No, DJ, we're not talking that yet. We're not tanking. We're fine. Let's just take a deep breath. Be fine. Everyone, like, we all want the same thing. Look, if you're going out to the game next week, if you're heading out to the stadium, hit me up. Me and Mike, you may have seen us do a show before in the past. Me and Mike are going to be there. If you came in late to the show, we're going to be at Intuition Brewery, I think is what it's called. The Intuition Ale. It's a brewery right by the stadium. We're going to be there. My little brother's band is actually like playing like before the show. So we'll be there probably like 10 or 10:30. Come hang out, dude. We'll have a little Jaguars United, a little fun time. I'll buy some drinks. I'll buy a round for y'all. We'll have a good time. We'll party. We'll go to the game. Maybe we'll meet up afterwards. I mean, we'll do something fun. Like, if there's one thing that we do around here is we have a great time when we go to the games. And I think those of you that have watched the show know that by now. So hit me up if you're there. You can hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. And we'll, it'll be a good time for sure, man. If you haven't yet, follow the Twitter. Jaguars_United. Instagram, Jaguars United _ Twitch, Jags _United. All of those things, you can find us. You can find me. Usually I'm tweeting on all kind of weird levels, if you know what I mean. But it's a good time. Thank you guys that were here in the chat. Thank you guys that donated. I mean, Nicole, I appreciate the $2.99. Steve Boston, the $4.99. Thank you guys. Like, you guys are awesome. I love doing this. Sorry it's been a while since the last show. I was out of town at a wedding. Glad to be back though. Glad the Jags are here. Glad that we got a home game coming up. Should be a great time. Thank you, you guys, for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next week.